Moo, is there a thing in chess called rocks? Oh, rooks. Rooks, is it? Chess? Yeah, rooks. Okay. I couldn't read my writing. It looks like it said rocks, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. Rooks, okay. So I just want to say, if you hear any background noise, Ruben and the cats are here with me. So if you hear anything over that way, it's just them. So there's nothing wrong with the mic or anything like that. There's no like spooky stuff, even though I film in an attic. It's just them over there. Hello everyone and welcome to Kimmy's Shrine. So if you're new here, then twice a week I do videos. So the last one I did was actually my Once Upon a Time haul. So if you've not seen that, then please go check that out. And today I thought I'd talk about my board games. Now I know a lot of you are actually self-isolated at the moment. Unfortunately, I'm one of the people that are not. I'm actually still at work, but obviously I'll talk about that in my vlog. So I thought now would be a perfect time to talk about things, just in case you are bored, just in case you're indoors, you've got nothing else to do. I thought now would be a perfect time to talk about the games that Disney do. I'm also doing a giveaway, so let's stay to the end of the video and all the details will be there for you. So the first one I thought I'd talk about is obviously Disney trivia. So if you want to play a Disney game, this is obviously the first one to play. Now I've actually played this several times with my friends. A lot of these games me and Ruben just play by ourselves, but the good thing about this one is actually got two versions. It's actually got an adult version, it's also got a kids version. Now the adult version are more just questions. There's also got like different categories, things like that. So it's like normal Trivia Pursuit, it just happens to be a Disney version. Whereas the children's version, on the back of it's actually got a character, so it's actually got a picture, and then the other side is obviously questions about that character, like who's my best friend, what film am I from, that kind of thing. One thing I do like about this, the actual board game is in the shape of Mickey Mouse. It's actually quite fun. Some of these I don't actually know the answer to. I know, shocker, it's because some of the films, for example, like live action films like Mary Poppins, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, are not really my favourite. So to be honest, whenever I get those kind of questions, I'm like, I don't actually know the answer. I would say most of these you can actually get from, say, like Amazon, eBay, Smith's Toy Store, Toy Entertainer, so anywhere that obviously does toys, I would say they're the best places to get them from. So the next one, me and Ruben actually used to play quite a lot, and it's actually Disney chess. Now I'm not the best when it comes to Disney chess, but at the same time it is quite a fun game to play because it's like the heroes versus villains. So one person will play the heroes, the other person will play the villains. Now because I'm not the best of it, I did actually have to write what the characters do, like what moves they can do, just because I'm not like the best at chess. Like it is a fun game to play, but it's not one that is like my favourite, whereas Ruben does actually like playing it quite a lot, so I've actually had to write down what all the characters do. So if I can just take this off very carefully. The kings on these, you've got Simba and you've got Shere Khan. The queens is Cinderella and then the evil queen from Snow White. The bishops are Beast and Ursula. The knights are actually Peter Pan and Hook. Moo, is there a thing in chess called rocks? Oh, rooks. Rooks, is it? Chess? Yeah, rooks. Okay. I couldn't read my writing. It looks like it said rocks, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. Rooks, okay. And they've also got the rooks, which is Baloo and Cruella. The pawns are obviously Mickey Mouse and Car from Jungle Book. I really like this version just because obviously it is a heroes versus villains one, so it's kind of easier to kind of see which characters you are, especially if you're used to playing normal chess, you know obviously what the figurines look like. Whereas when you play this one, you're like, oh, which one's mine? Especially after a while when it's on the board, you might forget which characters are yours. So knowing if you're like the hero or villain, it makes it easier to remember which characters you are. So I kind of feel like there's so many different versions of Monopoly out there, and you can't have Monopoly without having a Disney version. Now the one that I've got is, there are a few different ones, but the one I've got is the one without the castle in the middle. Now the reason why I've got this one is because I have seen pictures of obviously the board game with the castle in the middle, and I felt it would kind of get in the way because it looks too big. I do actually like playing this one. This is actually one of my favourite board games to play. Me and Ruben did actually go for a phase when we first got together, so I would say that the first year we were together, we actually played these quite a lot. Now I really like this version because what you're actually collecting is the films. So for example, you've got like Lion King on there, you've got Snow White, you've got 101 Dalmatians, so I think it's kind of cool that that's what you're collecting. And you've also got Showtime and Magic Moments. So these are the things that you've obviously got there. And some of them's like, you are the fairest of them all, get £10. Or like, it's your birthday, collect, so, you know, a certain amount of money from each player, that kind of thing. So, you know, they've actually Disneyized it, which I think is quite cool. But like I said, I've actually got this one where you don't have the castle in the middle, because there is another version where it's obviously in the middle where it comes out, like a 3D type one. And I just found that personally it would get in the way. Now the little characters that you can get, so some of them, for example, you've got Aurora, you've got Lady and the Tramp, you've got Alice from Alice in Wonderland, you've got Mowgli as well. So I kind of think they're kind of cool that the actual characters that you play are characters from obviously the Disney films, rather than having like a Boo or a hat or like an iron. I kind of feel like that's kind of cool that way. And then the actual money itself does actually have Scrooge McDuck on there, so I think it's kind of cool. The actual Monopoly money actually has Scrooge on there. And the other cool thing is you actually get cottages or castles. So rather than, I think it's hotels and houses, yeah, you've actually got cottages and then you've got castles on there, so I think that's kind of cool as well. So like I said, so it's just like, if you like the game Monopoly but obviously you want to make it a bit more Disney, like these are kind of cool to get. Like I said, there's so many different versions out there, so it just depends on whether you're like into Star Wars or Marvel, that kind of thing. So there's other Disney type properties out there that just happen to be Monopoly ones. But yeah, like I can't remember how long ago. Some of these I've actually had for a long time. I would say some of these I might have had for like 15 or 20 years ago, so there might be different versions out there now compared to ones that I've got, so it'd just be a case of looking around. Now this other one, it's not a game I'm familiar with. Obviously I bought it because it was Disney and I thought it would be a fun game to have just like in the house, but it's not a game that I'd heard of, because the actual game it is, they actually Disneyfied it. So similar to like Monopoly and like Trivial Pursuit, it is actually a game that existed before Disney put their own spin on it, and it's actually called Labyrinth. So this one, like I said, I only bought because it was a Disney game and I thought it actually looked quite fun. So basically what you do, you've actually got the board there, you get given cards and you're supposed to get the character on that cards. So it starts off like this, and then you've got all the little pieces where you've got obviously like pathways, and you're supposed to move them, so obviously eventually you can get to your character. So you got things like this that obviously move around the board, and you obviously get like characters, but no one else can know what character you have. So it's really fun because obviously when it's your go, obviously you move a piece, obviously move the board to then obviously move along, but then someone else on their turn, they move it and they might move it back or move it the wrong way because they don't know what character you're going for. So it's a case of obviously the board gets moved around quite often. Don't know if I'm explaining it very well, but yeah, it is the game Labyrinth. So like I said, it is a game that exists, a non-Disney version. I don't know if they have other versions as well, that's obviously other character versions or other film versions, but yeah, I just got this one just because it's Disney and it just seemed quite fun. So the next one I actually got in a charity shop. I did actually get this a couple of years ago, so I have actually recently done a video on some of my charity shop things that I got recently, but this one my mum actually found me. So she actually got me this from Age UK Charity, and she actually got it for £2.99. So this is actually a Frozen one, and they call it a pop-up game. Now I don't know what the original game was called, because I remember as a child I did actually have this game when I was a child, but obviously it was like a normal standard game, so I'll just get it out to show you. So you're one of the characters, and it's got the little dice in the middle, which if I can do it, yeah, so I don't know if that's why it's called Pop It, because obviously it makes, you know, obviously you're technically popping the dice in there. You've got these little colours, so you're supposed to go around the board once, but obviously you have to go where the dice actually says, so you have to get the right amount of numbers. And then you've got a certain colour, and then you're supposed to fill up these ones with these colours. So the person who's obviously filled up this with all the colours first is obviously the winner. It's kind of a fun game because it's one of those ones that is like a chance kind of game, so it's not like you don't need any smarts of it, you don't need to be clever. It's kind of one of those random ones because you're relying on the dice in the middle to obviously show how many spaces you're supposed to go. The only thing is this does get annoying, so where obviously you're constantly having to do this for the dice, it does get a bit noisy. So another Frozen one is this one here, which is an Olaf one, but this one is very similar to Pop-Up Pirate. Now I don't know if that was like an international thing or whether it's just in the UK, but basically you've got a character in the middle who's in a barrel, and then you've got these little prongs that you put in, and it is again a game or chance, so there's no smarts behind it. So basically when Olaf pops out, you're the loser, so that's obviously when the game is over. So yeah, so you've got Olaf there, so you just put him in there like on a little spring. Oops, she says. And then you've got like these little things here, which you're supposed to in turn put in. So like I said, it is literally a random game, and eventually Olaf will pop out. Now it's quite a fun game, especially because like when you get near the end and he still hasn't popped out, it is a bit like, oh my god, is it going to be my turn? But yes, it's a case of just putting these in until he comes out. But the fun thing is, obviously, you don't know when he's going to come out. So you can actually have up to 4 players to play this one. So I have actually played it with some of my friends in the past. Yet again, it's one of those noisy ones because obviously eventually Olaf does come out, and because it's on a spring, it does actually make it a little bit loud. But yeah, it's just one of those fun games because, you know, like again, you don't need any smarts, you don't need any knowledge. It's just a fun game to obviously put these in. But like I said, when I was a child, they had a pirate version. So this was obviously a barrel, so it was brown, and a pirate was in there, and you were putting swords in there. It sounds obviously a bit morbid now thinking about it, but yeah, so it's the same principle that eventually the pirate would come out, and it was called Pop-Up Pirate. So the next one is actually this one here, which is a Jenga version. So it's actually Disney's version of Jenga, which they called Stack It High, and it's actually got Zoom Zooms on there. So you've got 3 different characters. So you've got Marie, you've got Eeyore, and you've got Stitch, and it is basically just Jenga. Now the only thing I would say about these is the fact that the actual things themselves, if I can show you, are more rounded. So where Jenga is obviously squared, so obviously it stays flat, because these are slightly rounded, they don't balance very well. So that's the only thing I would say about this one. It is a fun game, but the only thing is, they don't like sit properly. The fact they obviously got to stack them first of all before obviously you take them out like we would in Jenga, they're not that sturdy. So those are the ones that I would actually class as, say, like big board games, that kind of thing. So I do actually have a few little ones, so just in case in the future if you're traveling, or if you go around a friend's house, or if you can't take stuff like this because obviously it's too big, I do have a few small ones. Now one of my personal favorite ones is Uno. I absolutely love playing Uno. I used to actually play Uno on my phone, so I used to actually just go on there, like download the app. I think it was just like a normal Uno app. I used to just download it, and obviously sometimes I'd play against the computer or sometimes against my friends because I absolutely love Uno. It is a little bit of strategy behind it because you get like quite a lot of cards, and obviously the object is to get rid of all your cards. So it's kind of fun when obviously you put down a card and someone else has to pick up 4, or someone puts a card down and then obviously you've got to reverse it. So it's kind of fun. I kind of feel like there's certain games where people have their own rules. So for example, I think on one of these, I probably picked up the app. So for example, on this one, every time I've got to look up the rules for what this card actually does because I can never remember. Some of the other ones are kind of self-explanatory. So for example, on this one, if you put that one down, it means that someone obviously has to pick up 4 cards. You've got this one here, which is obviously a reverse. So if you're going one way, then you've got to go back the other way. This one here as well, where it just means that the person next to you who's going to play, they unfortunately have to miss a turn. So some of them are quite self-explanatory. But yeah, with this one, I'm just like, every time I have that card, I'm like, let's go look at the rules because I can never remember. The next one is actually this one here, which they call Dominos. So it's basically, so you basically got all of these. So it is like Dominoes, where if you remember, Dominoes obviously have like the dots on them and they've got numbers on them. So for example, it's got 2 dots for 2, 1 dot for 1, that kind of thing. Whereas this one, you've got to match the princesses. So if you got that one, obviously you've got to put down either a Snow White or an Ariel one. Or if you got that one, you've got to put down a Merida or Cinderella. So these ones are quite fun. Yet again, it's a little bit of strategy, but it's not too difficult to play. These ones I do quite like to play. For example, if like you're waiting for a flight, because sometimes you got to get to the airport a couple of hours early and you just sat there doing nothing. These are the kind of games that I like to play. Another one that we like to play when we go on holiday is this one here, which is actually Dobble. Now this one was actually introduced to me by a friend because they actually had the Star Wars version. I'm not a huge fan of Star Wars, so for me, I don't actually know all the characters, but knowing that they had a princess version, I was like, I have to get this one. So basically there's cards that's got different characters on there. So one card gets put down and then you've got a set of other cards, but every one of your cards, there's going to be a character on there that matches what's on here. So you've got to be the first one to obviously match your card with obviously the existing cards. So yet again, you've got to get rid of all your cards. That's like the principle of it. But one thing I like about this one is because I know the characters, it's easy for me to obviously spot the characters a bit better. Whereas when they've got like the Star Wars one, I was like, I don't really know the characters that well. So one with the black cape, that kind of thing. So I was kind of saying random things rather than the actual characters' names. Now Dobble itself, they do actually have other versions, so non-say Disney ones. Now this one can get a bit noisy because obviously you're having to shout out the characters. So the last one is actually Top Trumps. Now this one's actually an Incredibles one, so they do actually do other versions of them. For example, they've got like Frozen ones, they've got Princess ones, whereas I actually got this one for Ruben because I thought a lot of these are kind of girlish. Now if I remember rightly, a lot of these I did actually get from Amazon. Some I got from eBay and then other ones like I said from charity shop, but most of them I did actually get from Amazon. Now the fun thing I like about Top Trumps is that we actually use the term Top Trumps in our everyday life. I don't know if you guys do it where if you've only got one phone charger but both your phones need charging, that we kind of say what a percentage is, and obviously if the person who's got the lower percentage, they obviously win the phone charger, so you kind of like you Top Trumps them because your phone battery is lower. So on these ones obviously you've got the characters from the Incredibles, but you also have the other superheroes as well, which obviously mentioned in the Incredibles films. Now the things they've got on there, they've got the super suit, they've got teamwork, they've got special powers, innovation, jealousy, so they've all got different numbers depending on which category they come in. But this one I would say is a little bit more strategy behind it because obviously you're trying to outdo the other player, so obviously you're trying to Top Trumps them, where you're trying to obviously your number has to be higher than their one, so it is a little bit of strategy behind this one. But to be honest, a lot of these games I would say are quite fun to play as long as you don't really take them too seriously. I know Monopoly has a bad rep where obviously people get angry and obviously they flip the board and everything goes everywhere. As long as you kind of just play it like playfully and you're not too serious about it, and also as long as you're not like a sore loser, I kind of feel like it makes the games more fun. Like I said, a lot of these games me and Ruben used to play, so it's a case of obviously just the two of us playing them, but I have obviously played it with my friends as well. So yeah, so that was my board games. Like I said, I hope you guys are being safe. I thought I'd just do this one now because to be honest, I was actually supposed to do this at Christmas because I thought with Christmas a lot of people have families around, and I thought, oh, this would be a good time to obviously play board games if obviously you've got families of all different ages. I wasn't actually able to get around to filming it because I had so many other videos to do for you guys around Christmas, so I thought, oh, I'll do it later in the year, and I just thought now would be a perfect time because some of you are kind of, you know, self-isolated, so you can't go out, and I didn't want you guys being bored, and I thought these would be a good thing to do obviously if you've got family members in the house, even if it's only two of you. Like I said, me and Ruben played these, you know, with just the two of us, but if you've got other people in there, some of them obviously you can play with more people as well, but I thought now would be a good time, so just in case you are bored, now is a good time to obviously talk about these. Right, so time for the giveaway. So if you're new to my channel, then what the giveaway is you get to pick any picture from my Facebook Fancy Arts page. It all comes A4 canvas and it's also free P&P as well for you, so it doesn't matter where in the world you are, it will be free for you. So all you have to do is just to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. So once you've done that, you put in the comments that you've done that, so I know to enter you in the competition. So once I get to 500 subscribers, I'll pick 3 of you at random, and like I said, you can pick any picture you like. It doesn't have to be any of my Disney ones. I do other characters on there as well, but like I said, I need to get 500 subscribers first before so I can pick any winners. So yeah, so I hope you guys are being safe, but that is it. So I'll see you guys next time. Later days.